I mean, maybe you feel the same way, but to me, it's a hypnotic view. I mean, you see the end of the pier and you watch these waves coming through. You try to capture every single bit of it. This image, these images that are ever evolving, and the waves come on through. Every now and then, you'll see one that'll just touch the bottom of the pilings that move through. Then one that just masters it, and it's inexorable. It's just incredible to see. And this is so far away from the center of Potential Tropical Cyclone One, but still, you see the effects right here. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf. The story again is about what's happening here in the tropics. We've seen the beach just awash. I promise you, yesterday when we arrived here in the early evening hours, you did have a bit more of a beach. In fact, you could walk out maybe several hundred feet farther than this. What's interesting is that when they created the measure that we're standing on, that being the seawall back in 1902, it actually enhanced some of the beach erosion. I've read accounts going back into the 1880s where people talked about the beaches here that went for hundreds of yards off in the distance, but now you've got a shorter beach and you have just this timeless push and shove between land and sea. And it's quite captivating to see, the very least. But despite the captivation, the big issue is what you see off in the distance. We've got the clouds coming. They bear some heavy rain. We've already had flooding in Galveston, and there is a bit more that is going to make its way from the shoreline well into the interior. Good news is that it's a quick mover, so you like that. The bad news is soil composition. When it comes to flooding, you've got to consider things like, obviously, duration, intensity, but soil composition is a tremendous arbiter in the overall narrative of what can happen in terms of flooding. And with soil composition of much of South Texas being that really hard caliche, it will not take much to spur some flooding, and that's going to be a big concern. As we send it back to Jen and Alex in the studio, one thing to consider, too, is what this is going to do when it hits the highlands of central Mexico. That really will enhance, because you've got orographic lift, which will play a huge part in the overall story. Let's send it back to you. I know you guys are talking about not the falling rain, but this time the rising temperatures and going up in a big way, dangerously so, for millions of people.